Welcome back to TGS Tech, I'm Steve, and today we're looking at the MSI Radeon RX 6750 XT Gaming X Trio 12G. In this review, we're going to go over a bunch of stuff, and I want to best prepare viewers of all types. So here's what to expect from us, and well, here's the rundown. Firstly, we're going to take you through a visual tour of the card. I will be your Uber driver as I show it off and get you to see the full layout of the GPU. Next, we're going to get hands-on with this card. You know, give it a good hold, a real benchmark. I'm kidding. We're gonna hold it, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna admire this piece of work we have here, and we're gonna call it some design and just overall, how the kids say, the vibes of the card. Following this, veteran techies, you can probably skip the next section here as it's gonna go over a bunch of terminology that you might know. This is more geared towards newcomers to tech. I wanna give them a quick rundown on some key tech of the card and why it will benefit you as a casual gamer, or if you're a highly competitive esports pro. Trust me, this tech is cool and you'll be surprised at some of the features your GPU comes with. And you might not be taking advantage of. After this, we're gonna get in some quick software that you need to run the card, firstly being MSI Control and, of course, AMD Software Adrenaline Edition. I highly recommend MSI Afterburner for all you overclocking enthusiasts. Once we get all that out of the way, we're gonna dive right into our review. Our review will consist of a few things, just to prepare you what to expect there as well. How easy was this card to handle? How easy was this to install for me? Also, how does this card perform? And then, what can you expect as an end user owning this card? We'll show some of the highlights of me absolutely getting trashed in games, so you can roast me in the comments below where we talk about our final thoughts. So without further ado, let's get to it. First impressions, so be nice, I'm easy. The first thing that caught my eye on this card was the gorgeous backplate. I'll admit, the first thing I always look at when it comes to GPU is two things. One, how cool is the backplate? And can I put anything cool on it? The answer for this card is yes, it's cool. And yes, you could probably put a figure on your backplate here, but I don't recommend it just because you shouldn't be putting stuff on there anyway. The backplate, plainly said, is pretty sick. It's very eye-catching with a brushed metal finish that adds a high-quality design to the card. It of course has the classic MSI shield. The next card feature I want to talk about here is the RGB. Again, to no one's surprise, I am a huge lighting enthusiast. So when it comes to RGB, I just love it. The card has three main parts we can engage: MSI Mystic Light through MSI Center. We have the top of the GPU, the middle, and of course the bottom fan region. I feel there needs to be like a chart in Latin, like a dissection for this stuff. Anyways, the RGB can be customized to whatever way you want with wonderful colors or different settings. I have mine set on magic setting just because I like how it changes, but if you want to be in darkness, you can turn it all off in MSI Mystic Lighting as well. Lastly, the fans. Look at the sheer size of these lads. They'll keep me cool all summer long. MSI dropped their magnum opus of fan designs here with the Torx Fan 4.0. These bad boys are designed to be working in pairs. They're optimized for airflow control to get air exactly where it needs to for maximum cooling. One last thing I want to call it here is, of course, the heat pipes you'll see right here. This is where obviously the heat dissipates and just kind of spreads evenly right across the hard here, right next to the heatsink. Now some card features. This features AMD RDNA 2 architecture, 12 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, PCIe 4.0 support, and a 7nm GPU. Cool stuff. Next up, let's talk about AMD core features. Firstly, with AMD RDNA 2 architecture and AMD Smart Access Memory. AMD RDNA 2 is an improvement of the previous AMD RDNA. The focus of RDNA 2 is to deliver breakthrough speeds with power efficiency. So how they did this with the creation of AMD Infinity Cache. No, not Infinity Stone, Infinity Cache. In simple terms, the AMD Infinity Cache alters how the card works by delivering high frame data with low energy. What this means to you is a high level performance while staying within power efficiency. Now, AMD Smart Access Memory. In the past, you've only had limited access to certain parts of your GPU memory. Now, with AMD Smart Access Memory, you'll have access to all of your GPU memory. How's this done? I'm glad you didn't ask because I'm going to tell you anyway. AMD Smart Access Memory utilizes the powerful PCIe bandwidth to expand the data channel. This allows your GPU and CPU to team up and removes that bottleneck completely. Now that you understand all that fun stuff, there are two pieces of software immediately installed and used with my card. Firstly, AMD Software Adrenaline. This is where you'll update your card and drivers. You'll use some additional features here as well. I recommend you check it out, as when I dived into there was a lot of cool stuff. Next, there's MSI Center. This is where I was able to change the RGB settings on my card. Both programs are worth exploring, so dive in. There's some cool key features here, and discovering how to optimize your card is a really cool play to really set up and figure out your play style. Now, let's get to the meat of this card. What did I think? What did I do? And how do we do it? Firstly, the specs of the tower used here, just so you understand our scores and where we're coming from. We have an AMD 3700X, 16 gigs of memory inside, and of course, our card for the review. The most important thing here for me is I want to see how this card will perform for a casual player and, of course, an esports pro. So we dove into some benchmarks with Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Really like this benchmarking tool, it's really cool. And some top esports titles like Apex Legends, Genshin Impact, and Halo Infinite. So here's how it performed. When we fired up Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker benchmark tool, I unfortunately did not take the time to make my own character, so I goofed, I'm so sorry, but we used the default hero of light. We got a score of 16,741 on maximum with a total load time of 10.634 seconds and a score of extremely high. Nice. We of course dove into some competitive gameplay with Apex Legends. I got crushed. Regardless of my max settings, we dove in and hit around 150 to 155 FPS, and while just running around shooting and of course me dying, we dove into the shooting range as well. Having high performance for a game like this, especially being highly competitive, whether you're grinding for a top spot in the esports org, locals, or jumping into a major event, those frames are necessary. Now, what really impressed me was Halo. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. Visually stunning, the explosions, the chaos, the world just moving, it's just so beautiful. I set the game to ultra settings and we got slaughtered in a glorious 100 FPS. Please no bullying, I cannot shoot. Now, I jokingly put Genshin Impact on the list just to bully our editor Kyle. Sorry, future Kyle. But man, let me tell you, once we dove into this game and saw the visuals, I was impressed. In venturing the open world, you're left with these stunning visuals. The combat is fluid, explosive, and it looks so good. While the game is capped to 60 FPS, you can really appreciate the game here and the art. In closing, I was impressed with the overall package of this card. Not only do you get an easy to install experience, you also get a support bar, which you usually don't see. So I was really impressed with that. Installing drivers and optimizing the settings all the way down to, well, the end user experience of gaming was just a really good experience. I absolutely would recommend this card to any of my gaming friends, family, or anyone just asking, hey Steve, looking for a good gaming card, what do you say? That's my conclusion, that's a review. If you'd like to check out more, feel free to check out tgs.gg/MSI, where you get more information on the card and all the cool nitty-gritty stuff. All right, friends, you know what to do. It's the end of the video. So hit that bell, ring the notification, and we'll see you in the next one. So until then, friends, I'm Steve, your host from the North, and goodbye and good gaming.